bored in the house and I'm in the house pool, recording a video and we're talking about the Lord.
I ain't got no bars.
And I got a car. Hey.
I'm just the beat boy.
I think you're good.
That is good.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Brandon Turner.
I'm Sesame Morrison.
I'm Christian Davis.
And we're from Fellowship Christian Center Church. Our pastor is Dr. W.L. Stafford Sr., and we're located out in Plano, Texas. Today, though, we're going to be talking about faith.
Faith. Sesame, what does the Bible say about faith?
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen.
I like that. Look at you memorizing verses and stuff.
Got it.
Scripture memory.
Got it. And it comes from Hebrew 11:1.
11:1, definitely. Faith is something that's talked about many times in the Bible. I know a few verses for me personally that relate to faith are Mark 9:23 and Ephesians 2:8-9. Brandon, do you have any verses that you usually reference to?
Hebrews 11:1 is what I would reference to, especially when it talks about evidence of things not seen. So that's really big for me because it's like evidence of things not seen. Like, how do you have faith in a God that you don't see, right? Mm-hmm. That question gets asked quite a bit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so the thing that I like about that is there's so many real life examples to kind of bring it home, And evidence of things not seen, it's like, okay, well, we got Wi-Fi, but you don't see the connection.
I don't even know what Wi-Fi is.
Right? You don't see the connection. Or there's wind, but you don't see the actual wind. You see the effects of wind, right? But you don't see the wind.
Exactly.
It's just like God.
Yeah.
We don't see God, but we see the effects of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those effects of God is what drives your faith.
Certainly.
So.
When would you say, Sesame, for you, faith became something that you really understood or something that you actually wanted to learn about?
So let's start with, we're going to say high school. For me, that's when I actually began to rely on faith myself and not through my parents, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of times if I wanted something done, I knew that, like, God would provide, but for some reason I felt like she had to, like, pray for me or, like, do it on my behalf.
Yeah.
But in high school, I remember taking this really important test, and I had failed, and I wasn't one that would usually fail tests, so I was kind of like blown away. I was like, oh my God. I was like embarrassed. I was just like, whatever. And so I remember my mama speaking to me, and she was like, it's time for you to really start applying your faith. Like, the God that you serve. And it's like, dang, I'm in high school, but I do know God. Like, it's okay for me to go in, like, on my own, like, on my behalf. So I'm like, okay. And so I remember just really sitting down and praying, and that's how I started with, I got my journal out. I started with, like, journaling, because at first I was like, I feel like I'm talking to God, not making sense. So I started writing down, like, what I wanted to say, and I would just kind of recite that. And I just remember being like, okay, well, what's a way I can apply scripture? Now, I would still go to her for scriptures, and of course she would explain them to me, but I do know for sure, like, in high school, that's when I really was like, okay, like, this is on me. I have to take it into account for myself and really start applying faith. And once I did that, I began to pray, like, on my own, like, legit on my own. I started seeing God move and do things. And then, like, me passing that test, even though I'm kind of like, oh my God, like, it happened, it's good. All right, I'm done. It was like, nah, I need to do this more often. Like, this is good. This is true. So, yeah, I want to say high school.
High school.
Okay.
High school.
Okay.
Yeah, Brandon, when would you say that it really came in your life, faith? I know I really like the point of you were believing through your parents.
Yeah. And
you had to really find on your own. For you personally, when did that come?
I'll probably say, excuse me. I'd probably say, like, probably in college, a little bit after college, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit after college.
Like I said, same.
When my faith, I felt like, really started to kick in.
Were you being tested?
I was. And that's why it had to kick in, right? Because I was being tested.
Yeah.
And so I really had to lean on God. Yeah. Right? It's like I was brought down to my knees in my life, but then I had to know to use God to stand back up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what my faith was really on top right there, man, because I had nothing else to trust in.
Oh yeah.
You know, I had nothing. I had no one to go to but God.
A person I like to reference to often, many times in the Bible, who I really look up to, a person that I really didn't understand until recently, is Abraham.
I like Abraham, my brother, Abraham.
And where did you find Abraham in the Bible?
He is in the book of Genesis. And there's, a number of chapters that cover him. I know for sure a good starting point could be chapters 12 through 17, because it really introduces him, and it talks about what exactly he had to do as far as like the moving away from his country, his hometown, to somewhere unknown. It really like begins to speak about him and his willingness and his faith. So I really think that chapters 12 through 17 for sure are good ones to focus on when you want to try to learn about Abraham.
And then what's crazy is that God asked Abraham to leave, right? Leave his native country, leave his hometown, basically.
Everything, man.
Right, and just go. But he was also 75 years old when he left, right?
Yeah.
And then he's 75 years old. His wife is also up in age as well.
Yeah.
And God now tells him, hey, y'all are going to have kids, right? Basically, y'all are going to have a kid, and you're going to have many descendants, right? But they don't have kids at this point. And the Bible tells us that Sarah can't even get pregnant.
Yeah.
So you got God telling Abraham, hey, you're going to have many descendants. If I'm Abraham, my first thought is, well, my wife just can't get pregnant.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But that's the faith that Abraham had to have. Right?
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, I have to let faith overpower my logic. Right? So faith over feelings. Never let your feelings overcome your faith, because when you do, then that's when you lose faith in God.
Yeah.
Faith over feelings. We need to hashtag that.
Yeah.
Faith over feelings.
Put that on a t-shirt.
You know what I'm talking about?
Put that on a t-shirt.
I like that.
Sesame, how would you, right now, how do you think you would respond if God gave you somewhat the same message that he gave to Abraham?
Good question.
Yes, very good question. Jesus, what? That's the question. I was like, what? Where am I going? Is my kids coming with me? Like, oh my God. Maybe if I leave them behind. No, I'm joking. No. But seriously,
Could you babysit while you go? Like,
you got this. The first thing I'm telling you, I would be like, where am I going?
Yeah.
Like, where am I going?
Yeah.
Because depending on where I'm going is depending on how well I'm going to be receiving this information that you're giving me, Jesus. And then that's where I'm like, you know what? I got to be like Abraham.
Right.
I got to just go.
Yeah.
So it may take, like Abraham got up and he just went. It may take me like 15 minutes to process it.
Yeah.
But after the 15 minutes, I'm going to get up and go. Just because now in my life, I'm at a point where I've seen God be faithful to me. And I'm realizing how important it is to be faithful to God. So I feel like I'm in a really good place where I would actually receive that information a lot better than, before. And I would be pretty much willing to get up and go.
Yeah.
Especially if he keeps my
I said I know I would
That's
definitely.
good.
I would be questioning it for sure. I definitely would question it. Brandon, would you think you would respond the same?
Me personally, I'm at like,
On a scale of 1 to 10.
it probably would take God having to make me go
Yeah.
than to go, because it's like, I'm going to process it, right? is this logical? Is this, what's going on, But then God's going to say like, hey, either you can go on your own or I'm going to make you go.
Now, what's the way to make you go? Like kidnapping you?
I don't know. Foreclosing on your home?
Doing something to where I had to get up and go. Okay, well, I say, okay, Lord, I get it. I'm gone.
It's got to be written
I'm
on the
gone.
wall. It's got to be
right.
written,
I'm gone. Right.
I hear you.
But that's one thing I love about God is He personalizes His message to you.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like He knows how to make you get up and go, and He's gonna do it a different way than He does it for me.
Yes.
That if He were to do it to me, and that's what I love about God.
Yeah. I believe that.
But you know what? Just one good point before you continue, I want to bring out is that even though you said it may take you some time to process it, like you stated, it'll take me a little longer than you said for me to process it. To me, I really feel like it's saying it's not that you don't believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you don't think God will take care of you wherever He sent you. It's just that human part of us, like it's okay for you to have questions. It's okay for you to feel a little uncertain.
Oh, definitely.
Because that's what drives God to continue to prove Himself to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to make sure that people understand that even though Abraham got up and left, there was an instance where his feelings was over faith.
Yeah.
The hashtag turned around.
Right.
It was feelings over faith.
Yeah.
Because when he traveled to Canaan, and from Canaan he went to Egypt, once they met Pharaoh, he was like, okay, I got this beautiful wife and all these army of men over here. And if they know she's my wife, they probably gonna kill me. So we're gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely lie.
That's like a human, like the flesh taking over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like one should not feel bad, but we also have to make sure that we understand, like we gotta bring ourselves back to it and like, okay, you know what, this is God we talking about.
Yeah.
He got me.
You really gotta gauge it for a second.
Yes, but every situation is not gonna be just the get up and go, get up and do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes you're gonna be a little bit
It
resistant.
definitely may take time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like what you said about it's not that you don't believe in God. So that brings me to my next question is believing in God different than having faith in God?
I believe so, wholeheartedly.
It's a great question. Probably something I need to think about. I've never been asked it personally. But you said believing in God is different.
I mean, yeah, is believing in God different than having faith in God? Because it's like, if God says, hey, you're going to get a job within the next 2 weeks, this job is going to change your life. However, you don't think you are in position to receive that job. Even though I still believe in God, do I still have faith that what He said is going to come to pass?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in His existence.
Yeah.
But do I believe sometimes that He can do what He says?
Yeah.
And to me, that's two different things, right?
You got to believe He's going to come through. That's
Exactly.
Definitely, because it's like it's two parts. Because the belief part, I think, is the setup. It's like he's presented you with this opportunity, but you've got to have faith that He's going to come through.
Exactly.
So,
But you know what? Honestly, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of people, especially now, like, we're just going to say during the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are in that particular position where they believe in God, but they don't necessarily have faith. And some of it could be like insecurities, because you're insecure with yourself. You don't feel like you deserve certain things. And then sometimes it's the matter of how long it's taken for what you want to happen to happen. The patience.
Patience.
So
that timetable is what
I think
gets
that's
everybody.
I'm still working on.
You know, we all want something to be done right away.
Yeah.
You know,
especially in today's society, we live in such a now generation.
Yeah.
So you can order your groceries, you can order food, you don't have to leave your house. So
exactly. We want everything now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think with God, it's not all. It's majority of the time, it's not right now.
Right.
So
because it's like if He gave everything to you now when you ask for it,
you'll never want Him. Like you'll
never grow your faith.
Yeah.
Because faith only grows when you're stretched, just like a muscle.
Exactly.
Your muscle only grows because it's being stretched. And when you're working out, you're lifting weights to grow your muscles. Exactly. You gotta stretch to grow.
You know what? That's probably my problem too. Think about it. I hate exercising, and I'm always talking about I need to lose weight, and I'm like, I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's
like muscle memory. Why you can't remember what I did like a year ago? But it's like
no.
It's like, so we need to shave a few pounds off of our faith.
Hello, that's it. No, for real.
Like, we got some extra weight on our faith that we don't need.
Right.
You know?
And I'm telling you, that's where a lot of people are. It's like, I believe, but what it takes for me to have faith, I really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So that about wraps it up about faith. So next, though, we're going to try to do this at the end of every single video, called Honesty Session. Last video, we had an honesty session at the end. This video, we're going to have an honesty session. So just to pop it off with Christian, I'm gonna ask you, what do you have a time where you felt like your faith was low?
Yeah, I would certainly say, I think it was a couple times in my life where, for the most part, it felt like, I wouldn't say I stopped believing in God necessarily, but I was just going through the motions with life, and I really felt like I was doing this all on my own. Like, certain things were happening, things were coming to me, and I was like, I did that. I created that opportunity. I executed, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out those things fell through. And next thing I'm looking back on it, I'm like, where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? And for the first time for me, it was in high school, and it took me months, almost a year later to realize that I was just kind of coasting, and I wasn't really putting any faith in God necessarily. I was still going to church. I was still reading my Bible, but I was just 100% going through the motions.
Were you putting more faith in you?
Oh, 100%. I thought that I was just out here just making moves. And we know that we all know that we're not in control at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I truly believe it's him up there.
Yeah.
So that was for the most part me.
Okay. So what about you, Sesame? Has there been a time where your faith has been low?
Yes, there has been. There's been plenty of times, but we're only going to focus on one. So this one particular time, I want to say 2015, I found out I was pregnant with my second child. And I was at a point where I'm like, I cannot afford another child. Not only that, I was working and I'm feeling like I cannot afford another child. Like, I'm legit working. I'm like, it's hard to pay rent. It's hard to pay car note. Like, what's going on? And then I'm trying to apply for other positions at my job. But being that I'm pregnant too kind of sets me back because nobody wants you to come in because they know you're going to leave soon.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I have security in the job, but I'm not making enough. And then I'm bringing another life into the world that, like, I have to care for it. And nobody wants to bring a life into the world that you feel like you can't take care of. And, I'm talking, like, with my village, and they're trying to pour into me. And I'm just like, I'm not seeing it. It's not adding up. Everything that I'm trying to plan for is literally, like, falling apart. I even got to a point where, like, I had to let my apartment go. So now I'm like, I got to move out, and I got 2 kids. Like, I can't even take care of myself. Like, this just doesn't make sense. And I'm just like, okay, I'm praying, and I'm asking God for some stuff. I mean, I'm trying to apply for different assistance and stuff, and it's just like, I'm just getting denied, like, all across the board. So I really kind of feel like, not alone, because I still had my people, but I just felt like, I was like, God ain't really, like, looking out for me. Like, I'm just kind of out here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. I'm trying. And it was a really hard year for me. It actually kind of not affected my relationship with my daughter, but, like, the way I received her when I had her.
Gotcha.
So I was kind of like, you're beautiful, and I want to love you, and I want to make sure I take care of you, but right now, like, I can't even foresee it. So it's just like, I already had felt like I was failing.
Yeah, it wasn't all in there. Yeah.
So,
wow, that's good.
That was a pretty touching moment for me, and it was a key,
I mean, and that's the
it's natural.
The beauty of this Christian walk, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not gonna be perfect, but yet God still looks out for us, and He still finds a way to show us His love.
Certainly.
You know what I mean? All right, y'all, my turn. So, I guess for me, a time when my faith was low, I would say in college, when I first went to college.
Okay.
So, I graduated from high school, got a football scholarship to go play football at Texas A&M University of Commerce. And before school actually starts, the football team goes to football camp, right? Called 2-a-days or however you want to call it. However, I'm a freshman. It's my first time away from home, first time away from my family. I had a girlfriend at the time, so that would be my first time away from her, who is not my wife. But the thing is, I had to throw that in there right there. I had to make sure I mentioned it. But anyways, freshman, first time away from everybody, and yet I go to football camp and they say, give me your phone, give us your electronics, and give us your car keys. Car keys. So, first time away from home, and they take all the stuff I need to be able to talk to my family, go somewhere, and so I had to lean on God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had no one else to talk to. My faith was low, at that time, right?
And you didn't want to be there.
I didn't want to be there. I was like, man, is this the right spot for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, like, man, I thought, this is where you want me to go, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what it, the feeling I'm getting right now, right? I was uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable.
And that's faith.
And my faith was low because I was like, man, I'm going back home. I'm going to quit right now, because at that time I didn't like change at all.
Yeah.
And so I was already, experiencing change being with my family, but then you tell me now I can't talk to him, I can't drive my car, I can't communicate with him at all.
Yeah. How long was this for?
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks. And so, man, I didn't like that. I felt very uncomfortable. But turns out, even though my faith was low at that time, everything went well. You know what I mean? God was revealing Himself time after time, and ended up working out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Certainly.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for our video.
Yes, ma'am.
We're so glad you guys had a chance to tune in, and we can't wait to come back to you guys with some more good stuff.
Yep.
All
right. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.